Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm starting a new series on my channel called Makeup and Misogyny, and basically I'll be doing my makeup while talking about misogyny. So if you're new here, I'm Fatima and I'm a licensed cosmetologist from Orlando, and I'm here to teach you about all things beauty related. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you can be up to date when I release new videos. Let's get started. So this series is going to be similar to the makeup and ghost stories that you may have seen on YouTube by various other beauty gurus. I wanted to do my own twist to this. So basically, instead of talking or telling ghost stories, I wanted to talk about the struggles that we as women face. And one of them is misogyny. This is a topic that I'm super passionate about, and I feel like it doesn't get talked about enough, or when it does, it tends to get brushed under the rug. So I was thinking, why not use the little platform that I have to highlight some of these issues? And as far as the makeup part goes, I'm just going to be doing my makeup, so it's not going to be really a tutorial. I'm mostly focusing on the topic that I will be talking about just while doing my makeup. It's going to be kind of like a get ready with me. That's why my hair is not done, because I'm starting makeup first. So before I get started, I'm just going to clip my hair out of the way, and I'm using my clips. These are from Sparkling Rose Cosmetics. They're brand new and I absolutely love them because they're super cute. They're pink and they help get my hair out of the way, and I use these for when I'm doing skincare, makeup, literally everything or anything, when I just want my hair to be out of my face. So earlier in the video, I said if you follow me on Instagram, then you would know that this is something new to my channel. So basically a week or two ago, I had put up a post on my story introducing that I was going to be talking about this subject, and I was basically letting you guys vent or tell me any experiences that either you or somebody you know has faced. So I'm going to be reading from my emails that I received, and I'm gonna read the experiences and then, just basically talk about it. So for context, I am South Asian, and a lot of the content that I reshare or repost has to do within like the South Asian culture or the community. And the reason being is because I'm South Asian myself, so it's something that I have experienced firsthand. I have a lot of knowledge because I come from that background, and like I said, I've experienced it, I've seen it, everything firsthand. Now, I'm not saying that my content or this video or anything that I talk about is specifically related to the South Asian community or culture, because it's not. It's a problem that affects, I would say, women all throughout the world and women in general in society, So if the shoe fits it, lace it up. If this content relates to you, then it's for you. And if anything that was said or talked about in these series of videos offends you, then it's most probably directed towards you. Now, I'm going to try my hardest to be super detailed when I'm explaining things or talking about things, and I just want to preface this by saying I am not singling out any groups of people, and I'm not trying to entice hate towards anybody. I'm just talking about issues that I feel need to be talked about. So these are general statements. When I talk about, for example, men, I'm not talking about 100% of men. I'm not trying to bash men. This is not anything about me, talking ill about a whole nother gender. We are just talking about things that happen in everyday life. So this first story, I'm just gonna start reading. So the title is "My Parents Will Always Try and Find a Way to Discredit All of My Accomplishments." So this person goes on to say that they're the eldest child in their household, and they're a female. And they were the first sibling to start working at a young age, and they have always wanted to become independent. So she is also the first one in her household to go to college. She almost has her master's degree and has managed to start several of her own small businesses. So first things first, I just want to say congratulations. That is really awesome that you are, trying to work towards being an independent young woman, and congratulations on all of your achievements. That's awesome. Like, that's amazing. I'm here for that. So she goes on to say, despite all of her accomplishments, she feels like everything she does just gets overlooked, and her family makes it seem like her milestones that she's reached are just pastimes or hobbies. I'm just gonna read exactly what she wrote because I'm trying to put on makeup and read this from a, I guess, third person or second person. I don't really know what person, but I'm just gonna read this from her perspective. Anytime I share something exciting in my life that has to do with work or my business, it doesn't get much attention. I normally find the responses being great, wow, clapping emoji, or some other dry response. However, when my brothers share something that they've done at their job or school, my family is much more encouraging with their words, and it becomes a topic of discussion. I've noticed, or I once asked my mom, why is it like that? And my parents said that my brothers haven't always been good in school. And now that they're getting older, they're becoming more responsible, and we need to encourage their behavior. This kind of made me feel angry and hurt inside because all I want is a little bit of recognition from my parents. And I've noticed that I always look for validation because I grew up not getting it from the people I needed to hear it from. Now that's really sad, and I'm sorry that you are experiencing that. So she continues to say, now that I'm married and when people ask me, my parents tell them, or when people ask about me, my parents tell them that I'm in school and I'm almost finishing, and the one statement they always say is how lucky I am to have my husband because he allows me to go to school and finish getting my degree. They also continue to undermine my achievements by following up and saying how he is helping me through school by financially supporting me. I'm not against my husband in any way, but it makes me so upset when my parents make these type of remarks. I find it insulting that they discredit me and make it seem like the only reason that I'm in school or finishing is because of my husband. I have done this for myself, and I'm not asking for anyone's permission to finish my studies. Another incident is when I get asked about my career. My husband has helped me in the beginning by giving me the idea, but I'm the one putting in all the work to get to where I am today. My parents again will discredit me and say it's all thanks to my husband. I find that to be a little toxic because those types of statements get me upset, and I don't want to have any type of resentment towards my husband. I have expressed how this makes me feel to my parents, but they think I'm just over dramatic and don't take me serious. I really don't understand how they can't see how unfair this is. So first things first, I do want to say I'm so sorry that you have to go through that. In some South Asian households, that is still true today, and it doesn't matter what region of the world you live in, because some families, even in the United States or Europe or anywhere else that's progressive, they still hold on to these ideologies and think like, oh, if it wasn't, for your husband, you wouldn't be where you are today. And I personally can attest to that because I've grown up hearing those exact words, and I've unfortunately been exposed to those types of mindsets or ideologies, and it can be very toxic. And I just think it's very wrong for someone's success to be undermined like that, and not to like a woman's. I feel like it's not right, and what I would do is I would try to explain that more to my parents. And if I was in her situation, I would just stop sharing those types of details with my family altogether, just to avoid like the hurt and I guess the resentment towards parents, husband, because then you don't want that to affect your like married life, if that makes sense. So this next one says, she starts off with her title, why do desi men think that women should just tolerate physical and mental pain? Now this one is something that I can definitely relate to, so let's see what she has to say. So she said, I come from a South Asian background, and my dad used to drill into my mind that just because I'm a woman, I'm supposed to be patient and tolerate emotional and physical pain. His reasoning was because God created us women as birth givers, so naturally our pain tolerance is higher. This would be in response to any kind of emotional pain that I would go through. It makes me sick to my stomach that this is what was being taught to my brothers while we were growing up. Thankfully, growing up in England, my brothers have never agreed with this logic and they are nothing like him. I'm curious as to why some desi men think like this. Now, this is something, like I said, I can relate to, and I've heard it for myself. I've been told pretty much the same thing, like, oh, just because, you know, you're a woman, like, you're able to give birth, you're just more naturally more patient and you're supposed to put up with anything and everything. And this was in regards to, like, I guess being married and stuff, like just dealing with whatever issues come your way and you're just supposed to be quiet about it and let things go. My response to that is, I think not. You know, I don't agree that just because we are the ones that give birth, naturally we're just supposed to let things go. Like, that's, I just don't really understand that logic, and I don't really know where that thought idea came from, because nobody should have to go through pain. Like, if anything, aren't men physically the stronger gender? So they should be the ones that can tolerate pain, right? But no, seriously, I think that is a very wrong thing to say, and nobody should be expected to just deal with any type of pain. And there's actually some comments on here. So somebody commented in response to that, and they said, because they know that their behaviors are toxic and don't want accountability. It's easier to gaslight women and say God made you stronger, so be quiet and put up with it. I remember my dad acting like he was dying when he would get a cold, and my mom pushing through the normal levels of domestic labor while having the flu and a very high fever. Men like to be babied, and that's why women in our culture are expected to handle all domestic duties on top of work, even though men are fully capable. Women get up mid-meal to pick up plates of people who began eating before them and couldn't do it themselves. This whole pain excuse leads to the wildest claims. She goes on to say that her ex-father-in-law used to always say that women who get cheated on need to forgive their husbands and own up to their inability to please him. But if a woman cheats, she doesn't deserve kids or alimony. He said all of this in front of his wife, who just stared at the ground. So these are real life experiences. I'm not just reading some fantasy novel, and unfortunately I can attest to that second part as well, because I've heard that with my own ears, and I feel like cheating, whoever does it, it's not right. Like, why cheat on your partner? Nobody should be feeling like they're responsible for their partner cheating on them. I don't agree with that. And honestly, if somebody cheats, it's not on you. It's not your fault that they did it. It's an issue that they have with themselves. So that whole logic of, oh, it's probably because the woman didn't do something. No, that's nonsense. So let's move on to the next topic. I'm trying to do my makeup while reading this, but I can't multitask, obviously. So I'm just gonna pause reading the next one and let me put on some eyeshadow. So I'm gonna use this new Colourpop palette that I haven't touched. Okay, so now that I have some makeup on, let's move to the next topic, or the next story. So this person starts off, and their question and they say, why do some South Asian parents tell us that we need to marry someone who can take care of us when they're gone? So they continue on to say, I have a hard time understanding the concept of marrying rich. Why would I want to get married to someone solely for the purpose of being taken care of financially? My parents think that just by marrying a rich man, that I will be looked after when they're no longer here. I've tried explaining to them that marrying rich doesn't guarantee that I'll always be looked after. What if one day he decides that he doesn't want me as his wife and now I don't have access to any of the money? I'll be left on the streets begging. I'm trying to make my parents understand that I need to be educated and be able to take care of myself, and I prefer getting married to someone when I'm ready and someone who I will be happy with. I always fear that living off of someone else's money is a horrible idea because in any moment that faucet can turn off. I am focusing on being able to support myself in any situation that I find myself. Now that last part, that is a very good mindset to have in this case. And I agree. I agree that the ideology of marrying rich needs to be non-existent at this point, because she's got a point. Like, God forbid if their relationship does not work out, you know, she's gonna be left on the streets, like she said. And second, a relationship shouldn't be based off of someone else's money. Like, money should not be the sole factor of why you're with someone. It shouldn't be the factor of why you're with someone. I mean, it helps, but that shouldn't be like number one what you look for in a partner is, oh, how rich are they? Because then that's kind of being somewhat materialistic. So to that, I definitely advise that, yes, work for yourself, you know, work to have some financial independence. You know, you don't want to 100% rely on a partner, because when things go south, like she stated, you know, so can your life security. So this next one starts off by saying, if you're a girl who's born in a toxic South Asian family, you're not alone. You can get out, but you just can't be scared. She starts by saying, my family and I live in Europe and my parents migrated from India. My mom is a bit more open-minded, but my father refuses to adapt with the new era. He is stuck in his old ways, and even though he's been living in Europe for more than 25 years. She says, since I was young, I have always been somewhat of a rebel, and I stand up for what I think and I know is right. I try and speak up for myself and mostly other women who are being oppressed. I always ask questions to things that don't make sense to me, and I do things on my own, and I don't really like depending on people and so many other things that a traditional woman should do. Oh, she doesn't like doing so many things that a traditional woman should do. My father has literally said I'm difficult when I don't agree with his sexist ideologies. And when I have an opinion about something, he gets angry and passes it off as me being disrespectful or having an attitude. He basically thinks that a woman should only say something when they're asked, pretty much. And don't get me wrong, I love my dad. He's a good father for the most part. I just don't like his way of thinking. He has always instilled in me on how he thinks a girl or a woman should talk, act, behave, and basically exist. Instead of being taught to value and care for myself, I learned that I need to change anything and everything about myself so I can cater to my future husband. I need to learn what he likes and dislikes and adjust myself according to that. As you can tell, I can't read and do my makeup at the same time. I'm trying so hard, but this is not as easy as it seems. I don't know. This is just the first episode, so I'm working out a lot of kinks in this. I'm probably gonna have like a different approach because I'm struggling. Like I can barely do my makeup and talk at the same time. Then she goes on to give examples. So she says, for example, if my man doesn't like me cutting my hair, then I'm not to do it. If it doesn't matter how I like my hair or if I like my hair in a certain way. If he doesn't like something, I shouldn't do it. No questions asked. For example, if he doesn't want me going to work, then I need to comply. I also grew up thinking that I'm the one that should chase him and get his attention and do everything to comfort him and basically have my life revolve all around him. My dad never gave me advice on how a man should be treating me, nor did my mother. I never learned that I am worthy of respect and attention from a man. I was considered lucky if I found myself a husband who would help me cook, clean, take care of future children, and do other basic housework. Things that basically any living, breathing person should be doing. My father's ideologies resulted in me having the lowest standards for a husband. I wasn't allowed to have many friends or hang out, and I was to go to school and come straight home. So because of this, I never had much influence from the outside world. It may have seemed as common sense to know how a man is supposed to treat you, but because I was so young and impressionable, and those lessons were left out, I grew up not valuing myself and not having my own identity. When I finally started to work and earn my own money and start college, I slowly became more independent. I started talking to people outside of my home, and I started learning and adapting to the Western ideologies. This is one of the best things that could have happened in my life. She goes on to say, I broke out of that shell and started finding myself. I went through a tough time learning about F-boys and what red flags to look for. In short, I have started living for myself and haven't looked back since then. And then she closes off by saying, the men in my family try and undermine my success, but I'm at the point in life where I actually don't care what anyone thinks or says about me, and I feel so liberated. And then she says, my advice. Don't be scared. Your parents aren't always right, and they do not always know what's best for you. Follow your dreams and reach your goals, because once you live your life, no one can stop you. And with that, I have to say that I agree with her reasoning and her last part. Definitely, I was kind of in like the same situation, but I overcame that by just not being scared. And I know it's easier said than done, but if I could tell something to my younger self, I would just say, honestly, screw it. And because when you're older, you're not gonna really care what people say or think of you. And one thing that I do regret is missing out on some experiences. And I'm not saying be disrespectful towards your parents or anything, but sometimes you have to do what's best for you, because in the long run, you're gonna know what you want in life, and you're the only one that's going to be able to make those decisions to get you where you need to be. I mean, you can't really be living for anyone else but yourself, because in the end, you're going to be living with the choices that you made. That being said, we've come to the end of this video. I know this series was a little bit different, and I feel like I was kind of all over the place with trying to do my makeup, talk, and read at the same time, all at the same time. But this was the first episode, and it's only gonna get better from here. So I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of makeup and chit chat type of thing. So if you're somebody that wants to share your experience or share something that has affected somebody, please feel free to reach out to me. You can send me an email with the details, and feel free to change the details of your story on your own, or you can just let me know that, hey, I want to kind of keep this anonymous, and I will change some of the details in the readings, but I will leave my contact information down in the description below, as well as with the products that I use to complete my makeup look. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I'll leave all my contact information down in the description below. With that being said, I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Comment down below on things that you might agree with or disagree with. So I will see you guys on the next one.